Friend? Oh, hello. Welcome back to a special high-altitude episode. We're preparing to climb the playoff peak. But right now, we're going to take a moment to look back at the regular season and see who's climbing, who's falling, and who's stalling on the most treacherous quarterback ranking in all of sports. Take my hand, come with me. It's time to ascend the regular season summit of Mahomes Mountain. Here I go. I got to go this way. Ready to go now. Wrong way.
Oh, my goodness. I can't believe I got mad at you 10 minutes ago, Wilds. I can't believe it. Shame on me. I apologize. But that intro is correct. 35 minutes from now, we will do the playoff quarterbacks only. Little context here. This is now essentially the starting quarterbacks we have left going into next year. So their red or green indications are how if they have risen or fallen based on their preseason rankings, and all the injured starting quarterbacks are back, all the backups are out. Off the mountain, guys who were on it at the beginning of last season.
Tough one.
All these guys are off, and I think only 2 of them are going to be week 1 starters next year. Greg's guy, Danny Dimes, and Bryce Young, because he has to be. Those other 6 guys are backup quarterbacks in the NFL next season. All right, 28 starting quarterbacks next year. Let's get to it. Row 7. Listen, of these guys, I'm actually most optimistic about Anthony Richardson and Kyler. I thought Kyler looked decent coming off the ACL. While the contract is going to be hard to live up to, those are the guys I'm most optimistic about. The guys I think under the most pressure next year are Justin and Deshaun, really playing for their lives as starters. Deshaun weird because of the contract. Number 6, a brutal drop for some show favorites. The Prince. Jalen, fresh off the Super Bowl. Aaron, fresh off his own personal research. Tua, fresh off of, 2 back-to-back September MVP campaigns. And then Geno and Baker about where they're supposed to be. Baker was a little low going into the year. Geno a little high. That's about where they should be. Number 5, congratulations to Jordan Love and Brock Purdy for their ascent past mediocre to above average for both of them. They are both in the top 15. And Jaden Daniels and Drake May, let me explain. They're going to go 2nd and 3rd or 3rd and 4th or something like that in this draft. There is not a single quarterback below them that the team with the 2nd pick would trade for the 2nd pick.
Jalen Hurts?
Or Jalen or the Prince. If you called up, if Philly called up and said, hey, we'll give you Jalen Hurts for the 2nd pick, the team with the 2nd pick is saying no. Given the contracts and given everything.
For the 3rd pick,
okay, all right, go ahead. Next. Caleb applies the same logic, except it's the people beneath him in the 1st pick. Hey, guys. The comeback of the traditional drop-back passer. Stafford and Kirk Cousins rising up the mountain despite not being able to run a 5-flat 40-yard dash. Level 3, CJ bleeping Stroud. What a rookie season by Bruce guy. Joe Burrow, it's not unfair to say, slight injury risk. Slight injury risk at this point. That hurt you. And Josh Allen right where he was to start the year and to end the year was quite the circuitous path there. Level 2. Patrick drops, but let's see how the next month goes. But right now, if you were to do the NFL Top 100, I think we know who would get the most number 1 votes. We'll talk about him in a moment. Dak had an MVP caliber season, checked all the MVP benchmarks, but we decided about a month ago he wasn't going to win the MVP, so now he is not even it's not even a discussion. We just decided, hey, Lamar's not playing week 18, doesn't matter what you do in week 18, doesn't count. And then atop the mountain is Lamar. And again, let's see how the next month goes. But for the time being, that is, and we can show you the biggest risers and biggest fallers, Greg Jennings, if people are interested. So Stroud and Lamar jumped up 5 and 3 rows respectively. Stroud, of course, wasn't on it. And Jalen and the Prince dropped from rows 3 and 2 respectively down to row 6. Greg Jennings, your thoughts on Mahomes Mountain post-regular season?
Mahomes Mountain is packed.
Packed.
But I like Kirk Cousins, man. I see that he moved up.
Yeah.
I think he can move up even more.
Wait,
like
what?
Look, if there was a way, and I'm not trying to knock Josh Allen off of the 3rd tier or Joe Burrow, but Kirk Cousins is just simply underappreciated, and we got to start putting some respect on this.
I thought that was quite respectful where I
look,
put it.
exactly, and credit to you,
Thanks.
but I'm going to elevate him even
please,
more.
Go ahead.
This young man played in 8 games this year.
Not even that young.
Like, 35 years old, still a young man. He's younger than me. I'm calling him a young
old
man.
man.
He played in 8 games this year, and he threw for over 2,300 yards. And we have Joe Burrow up here because of resume, because of what he had been able to accomplish as far as what he's done for his team. But if we're talking about this year, man, let's look at the numbers.
Well,
I mean, 8 games versus 10 games, 69%, basically 70% completion
in those 8 games?
percentage. I'm sorry?
What was the record in those 8 games?
I think they were
Can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I please
Yeah,
finish?
please let him.
2,300 yards. Every category, he was better than my guy, who I love, Joe Burrow. We got to start putting some respect on Kirk Cousins' name. When Aaron Rodgers went down, the Jets were, hey, can we get Kirk Cousins? We should trade for Kirk Cousins. Everybody was looking for a quarterback, and if Kirk would have been healthy, he might not have been in Minnesota.
Yeah. I don't think the Jets did that. I think the Jets just kind of did
also,
nothing.
listen, Greg, you make a strong case for your guy Kirk Cousins. I would argue that this placement right now on Mahomes Mountain is the highest Kirk Cousins has ever been in any quarterback ranking system ever, except for a career salary. So I think it's a more than fair, but I understand your point. Brew?
Okay. What? You tried to make it nice.
What?
You tried to
I try to be as nice.
Lead me off to another path. And look at congratulations to Brock Purdy.
Yes.
Look at how far he's moved up.
Yeah.
Man, stop it. All right, Brock Purdy is continually being disrespected by you. I guess you're going to have to learn the hard way. All right, he should at least, I mean, look, the college kids, Caleb Williams, Jalen Daniels, Drake May, they are not coming in next year and lighting the league on fire. I don't think any of them is going to be a C.J. Stroud next year. So if you want to say, well, where you moving him?
Yeah, where you moving?
Move Caleb and put him there. All right, he's had a better season than Stafford. Stafford was first half of the season, Stafford was like 9 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Stafford had 1 touchdown, 2 picks in his last game. I mean, come on, Matthew Stafford, y'all completed 62% of his passes. Y'all acting like the dude was all that this year. Brock Purdy was all that. Top 5 in the league in 5 categories, the 5 main passing categories. Lit it up against the top teams he played. They played like 6 playoff teams. He was 14 touchdowns, 5 picks. And obviously 4 of them came against Baltimore. So in the other 5 playoff games, 14 touchdowns, 1 interception. So he did it against good teams. He had a great season overall. Brock Purdy is being disrespected.
Where would you have
him? To the next level. To the 4th.
You think that?
And I put him first in that level.
Okay, well, there's
where
no,
Caleb is.
There's no left to right. We all know this. It's taken a full year. You still don't believe me.
I got a source in your committee,
There is no committee. The committee is Wednesdays for Tears. Mahomes Mountain is just me. If the Niners called up the Bears and said, "Hey, we'll trade you Brock Purdy for the number 1 pick," the Bears would hang up the phone and then laugh maniacally at them. And so that just is what it is. But I don't want to argue with
Caleb Williams is an unknown. They would have done that with Trevor too.
That's
Trevor
fine.
They would have hung up the phone on Trevor too. How's that looking right now?
If they called the Jags right now and said, we'll trade you Brock for Trevor, the Jags would hang the phone, laugh maniacally. But that's not the point.
Eat where you live.
That's
eat
fine.
where you live.
That's fine.
You live in Jacksonville, eat. I live in San Francisco if I'm Purdy. I'm eating.
Okay, all right. I totally understand how that fits in what we're discussing, but set that aside. The idea that Brock Purdy was more impressive this year than Matt Stafford, I reject on its face. I just reject it on its face.
More touchdowns, same interceptions.
And you said he had his stuff against playoff teams. One of those games that you didn't mention was against the Browns, where he completed 40% of his passes and threw for 140 yards. So maybe he didn't have a bad game. What? No. But you made it sound like his only bad game against playoff teams was the Ravens game. Stafford. If the Niners had Matt Stafford, they would be undefeated and one of the best teams we've ever seen.
Matt Stafford is a dropped interception from Jaquaski Tart from being in infamy right now. I mean, seriously.
I'm talking about this season. I'm not talking about his history. I'm not talking about
imagine how history changes if Tart catches the interception.
Go ahead.
All right. So as you know, for dry January, I gave up Casamigos and soda and defending Mac Jones. It was a combo. Yeah. I'm making an exception right now.
No, you're not.
Yeah. I'm going to ask Greg this question. because, Greg, I was inundated with this graphic on social media.
Oh, don't do it.
People begging me to put this on the show.
Stop.
It's the Prince compared to Mac Jones.
Ooh.
Now, when you look at the numbers are very similar. Except one guy we're saying is a bench warmer, and it has to be a backup quarterback, and he was inactive for the last game. One guy just played like it. So, Greg,
Mac's numbers.
I tried to put it in the nicest terms possible. Are we 100% sure that Trevor is a can't-miss franchise quarterback? I'm not saying he's not good. 100% sure he's a can't-miss franchise quarterback because that's what he was advertised as. It's been 3 years.
And
He's
he
played
was
one
great in
half
high
of
school.
good playoff football. Excellent in high school.
That was awesome.
You should have seen
Gatorade
him in 7
surgery
years.
and all that stuff.
Absolutely not. We are not 100% sure.
Thank you, Greg.
Can I make a
Super
point
Bowl
here?
champion?
All right, can I just make a point here?
Yeah.
Wilds just said, this is a nice little turn of phrase. This is a good debate tactic, Wilds, that you just used. And I'm impressed by it. I wonder if Josh, coached you up on this. Wilds said, I'm going to put this in nice terms. But the nice terms were so over-the-top complimentary, Greg could only answer no. 100% sure he's a can't miss. That's like 5 guys in the league.
Yeah.
Greg, are you 100% sure that Jalen Hurts is a can't-miss franchise quarterback? 100%. Are you? No, exactly.
He did go to the Super Bowl.
No, exactly.
He went to the Super
And
Bowl.
so the way you phrased it,
nicer.
let me ask. Let me ask
Are you
a different one.
95% sure?
Let me. 90.
Okay.
Okay.
You want me to keep going?
Let me ask
How about
one more.
92?
I'll ask the main one. Are you 100% sure that Mac Jones does not belong on any graphic